What's up, guys? This is kind of random as fuck, but I just feel compelled to make this video because honestly, as much as I don't want to admit it, I feel like I have fallen into a slop category of YouTubers in the sense of like what I actually make and what I create, mainly based on like the topics and stuff like that. Like, I really don't intend to make just like what every other douchebag with a microphone makes on the internet. I'd like to give my actual opinions and things that are a little bit more profound than that when it comes to my opinion on everything, when it comes to what I have to say about everything. But I feel like sometimes that can be a little bit difficult, especially trying to balance like what is important and going on in the times, and also trying to give like a unique impression of like how things feel and from my own perspective. Now, part of the reason I feel like making this video is just because in the past few days I've been thinking pretty hard about what slop even means. And sometimes I think it's just sort of like what the masses are speaking about and just the same thing as every other generic person. At first, I kind of had this impression that slop was just sort of like brain rot material, but I really think it's more just like, do I even care about these things? Do I even care about these topics? And when you're watching videos and you're watching, like, a slop content, I think it matters more if you care about what you're watching or not and are able to watch it intentionally. Do you actually walk away with some kind of like new information or life lesson or something that feels a little bit more impactful than just pointless noise going into your brain? And like I said, I've really tried hard to not do that while also following things that I feel like are currently happening and relevant, but just trying to give some kind of like personal feeling behind it that actually matters, and coming at it from like a place of morality and talking about like rights and wrongs in the world and what's good and bad and all of these kind of things. And sometimes that can be a little bit difficult to do both, talking about relevant topics and not falling into the whirlpool of shit, just the cesspool that we're all kind of swimming around in when it comes to the information that I'm giving. So, with that being said, after today, I'm going to work even harder to more intentionally make content that is not slop content. I don't necessarily know exactly what that means or how to define that to you. Other than that, I just want to make things that are not based on what everyone else is talking about. I really want to involve more of my interests in the things that I create. I want to involve the things that I actually care about and what I create, which up to this point I've tried to do that to an extent as well, but I feel like I want to go even deeper into what that means for me. And personally, coming from the world that I come from and being in the mindset that I've always been in my life, things that have really, really interested me are different kinds of philosophy or folklore or legends and things like that. And like, for example, the ways that I've tried to tie these things in the past are when I'm looking at something about, say, like the Epstein files, which is a very relevant and oversaturated topic. But I feel like it's super important to talk about. We are literally being run by a ring of pedophiles that want to protect other pedophiles that also tend to dabble in the occult. And I think that that's really strange. And I think that that's really weird. And as much as I really like talking about these sorts of topics because I think that they're important, I want to have a unique point of view on some of these things. And I mean, there's only so unique that you can be when it comes to anything. Like, everybody has similar opinions, and that's what helps information resonate with others as well. So it's not going to be like completely off the wall stuff, but I guess just analyzing it in a way that maybe I don't see other people analyzing it as. And I mean, that's really difficult, especially when you think about like the Epstein files and stuff, because everybody's covering it. So almost every way that you can think of, somebody's kind of doing it already. But I digress. I guess one of the biggest things that I've wanted to tie in with my interest towards the things that I'm talking about and reacting to is my interest in occult behaviors and occult practices. Not in the sense that not in the sense that I want to practice these things myself, but I've just taken it upon myself to learn and understand the history and the ways that these things have been implemented into our reality, because they are things that people follow and things that people live by. so that I can understand basically what we're all up against and the types of behaviors and things that we see that are very symbolic and very, very strange. Now, I don't come at these sort of things in a way that I believe one thing or the other. Like all of this stuff could be fake mumbo jumbo, but they're practicing those kind of things for a reason. They're doing a whole lot of ritualistic stuff. Things with CERN are kind of crazy. There's just a lot of stuff that Epstein having like buildings and shit like that that represent very occult things, like the stripes all over everything, the underground testing facilities, the weird spaces that all these celebrities and all these rich people make in their homes that seem like altars or some kind of places of worship to deities. That's pretty fucking weird. I find that really interesting. And some of the things like in movies and shows and TV also are very like almost social commentary-ish when it comes to talking about these things too. So I've had several different ideas for things that I would like to do with my channel and the type of content that I want to make. And one of those things is looking into forms of media and art like movie shows, games, mangas, whatever, and talking about the occult aspects of these things, or just sort of the concepts, not even just the occult concepts, but the concepts that mirror our reality and that we can actually talk about and look at the meaning behind these things in a deeper way. And then there's current events and the things that happen with like 764 cult group online and the types of people that are in that group and run that group and how similar they are to all of these other types of people. Like there are predators in our world. There are people that worship the devil. There are people that commit heinous crimes, and it seems like it's in the name of something very evil. And I feel like there's either a psychological element to all of that, and these sort of deities, beings, and occult natures can sort of tie into these mental elements. Or there's also the possibility of things like that being real and maybe influencing humankind in that kind of way as well. And I think that all of that stuff is really interesting, all the way going back to things like the fallen angels and the things that happened that made demons and giants and Nephilim and all of these things hate God's creation out of jealousy. All of that stuff is very interesting to me. And there's games and shows and movies and all kinds of stuff that pull in from these legends and pull in from these stories that we see throughout history. And it's based off of all of that. And I'm not saying that I know these things are real or fake or whatever, but I do also I believe in God. I know that there is a God out there. I feel like we all would not exist and there would not be all of this creation without there being some creator behind it all, because things don't just pop out of nowhere. Before you come at me with the Scientology comments or whatever the fuck, I believe that even scientific matters are just naturally explained by humans in the ways that they think the world works. But I believe that if there is a cosmic force going on above all of that, that it probably influenced these things to happen, like chemically and scientifically in our world. And these things fell into place because of a moving hand that's beyond our understanding and recognition. So, yeah, theology, astrophysics, things like that, all kinds of different practices and tests and things that have done with the government and throughout history and other governments, and all of these things in the name of like science and occultism and witchcraft, magic, supernatural elements, blah 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 blah. I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but these are big interests to me, and I know that they're a big interest to a lot of people. Like I don't think anybody can be just like purely 100% not replicating something that's already been talked about, done, or whatever. But I think that as an individual person, each one of us can sort of talk about these things from our own perspective. And I want to aim to have that be a goal for my channel. As much as I've tried to do that throughout this time already, I feel like I've still been sucked into the slop. And I don't want to do that. I want to talk about things from a perspective and in a way that is unique and something that you can watch and actually gain some kind of knowledge from, and not something that you just like put on in the background and just mindlessly listen to or don't pay attention to. I want it to be something that's actually intentional and meaningful. And I mean, I'm not saying that slop isn't something that we can't delve into it just a little bit sometimes, but I think that it's not supposed to be everything. You know what I mean? When there's too much slop, I feel like it just becomes nothing. I feel like you dehumanize yourself and make yourself sort of like a hive mind of everybody else's slot brained content, whatever brain rot. And I feel like that's really unhealthy. And I really want to strive to be better than that. So, yeah, give me some ideas, give me some thoughts, give me some opinions. I'm going to keep thinking about ways to evolve content further and further until I'm a little bit more proud of what I make and not feeling like it's as sloppish. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about that for a bit, give you guys my opinion, let you guys know what was going on, let you guys know where my brain's at, the goals of the channel, all of that stuff. Also, one other thing in the next 3 weeks, potentially the next month or so, I'm going to be basically furloughed from my job because the line of business that I was working for has went under, and I'm going to be focused on building a community during that time while I'm drawing unemployment and looking for other jobs and waiting to see if my company will get another line of business that's ramping up in order for us to actually go and work there instead, and then I have another job. I give that like 3, 4 weeks tops. If they don't look hopeful for getting another line of business, I'm gonna have to find work another way. But one way or another, I'm going to figure all of that stuff out. But I say all that to say that we're gonna have a whole lot of time to focus on trying to build a community and build people that can actually regularly come into like the Discord that I have and other things, which you guys can have a link to if you'd like to down in the comments. Let me know. Um, and just be a part of a community and try to build something up as well. That's going to give me a whole lot of time to do that and focus on those kind of things. So it's been something I've been pushing for really, really hard. So let me know if that sounds interesting to you. I will let you guys know if, I'll give you guys a link or something down in the comments. You guys can join the Discord if you want to be part of the community. And thanks for listening. I just wanted to talk about this random shit on my mind and let you guys know. I know it sounded really rambly and it's really, I didn't write anything down for this. You know what I'm saying? I just sort of like talk, blah, 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 blah. But don't forget to smile and be happy. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I'm going to go and stream a little bit of Demon Souls. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you did, leave a like. I'll talk to you guys later.